homered, did a terrific job behind the dish yesterday. Final swing and a miss by Harrelson, the transfer from Texas Tech. And it's 1-1 on the Florida State right fielder. 362, 5 homers. As Tremaine, the best ERA in the Cal staff. 3.16 coming in. He's 4-5. And the 1-1 pitch in on the hands, on the ground to second. To his left, Jaron Advincula, short throw to first. And that's how our ball game off the bay, which is about 3 miles beyond the right field wall. Over towards San Francisco. As Alex Lodis in the air, starting back, now charging in center, still coming on. And it's actually Advincula going out, the second baseman with the over-the-shoulder basket catch.
Well, French, I think, was fooled by that. He took a step back and
gave up 1 hit in that frame. 1-1. Popped up out of play. And it's 1-2 on Mac Williams, the center fielder for Florida State, who is 1 for 9 in this series with a run scored.
We talk about it being cooler today, but that could have an effect on the ball game because the ball does not fly here.
A great start this season, but the last 6 starts have been a struggle for Mendez.
Well, he's not going to overpower you, Roxy. He's a moxie guy out there. It's kind of like what we saw yesterday. But the one thing that Cal has to look at, he's also got 28 bases on balls in his outings, in the number of innings he's pitched, as you can see, 53. So Cal has to be thinking, be patient at the plate. He's going to basically the way...
Play 1-1 on Advincula. Christopher Gonzalez, our plate umpire today, calling the balls and strikes. Stephen Fritzoni at first, Greg Charles at second, Art Thigpen at third. And Advincula just gets a piece of it, 1-2 on the Cal second baseman.
It's interesting watching Florida State's defense. They play straight away against Advincula, which tells me they know he can hit the ball to...
The 6'2 lefty, the Tampa native, went to Jesuit High School in Tampa. 1 year at Ole Miss and now transfers to Florida State. And the 3-1 pitch, that is a strike to the outer half on a full count.
He has good action on that fastball. He comes 3/4. You can see it tails away from a right-handed hitter.
Schmidt dives back to first, and Cal really fighting it. Snapped the 9-game losing streak at Pacific on Tuesday as they run-ruled UOP. 13-3. And then with the win yesterday, snapping a 14-game conference losing streak.
Yeah, it's been a rough road for the last month and a half or so.
Smaldino punches one the other way, toward the line, and a catch on the move.
Not further away than the umpire is, but from my vantage point here, it looked like he beat it. I didn't think, quite frankly, I didn't think Mendez had his foot on the bag. Let's see. No, he was safe. He beat that. He was on that green bag before Mendez caught the ball. But, hey, we'll see what they're going to call here. But it looked like he just beat it with his hand. Now, Florida State may be...
Inside, charging it. Cal Fisher up with it on to first. Applefield is gone, so are the Bears in the first. As Cal strands 2, we're through 1 in Berkeley. Number 2, Florida State, and Cal scoreless. Scoreless to the second. That is just beyond first. That was a slider, but buried it too far in.
Good idea.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Freshman Miles Bailey leading off second for Seminoles as he taps that one foul of the first baseline. And Cole Tremaine, 1-1.
Well, the odyssey that some of these young men take today, Roxy, it's pretty interesting.
1 ball, 1 strike. Tremaine, the pitch. Swing and a miss, elevating and hits in 12 consecutive at-bats. Now here's Chase Williams, 2 outs and a runner at first. Short lead for Fisher as Tremaine missing low and in. 380 for Williams with 13 batted in for the Florida State left fielder who's had an injury-interrupted season. Missed about 6 weeks with a left shoulder injury. Here comes the 1-0. And Tremaine takes it on the outside corner as Tremaine took something off to get it in there.
That was a changeup at 81.
West played his freshman year at Alabama and transferred to Florida State. One strike pitch, and West for Cal in the second. Swing and a miss by Handren. 238, 8 home runs for the Cal DH.
I'm sure for those young Florida State players, that was a thrill. I mean, when they're told, okay, we're going to go practice over there, they're going to go, really? It's pretty cool.
Oh, those 3 positions were spoken for. Peyton Schultz, who's now at Texas Tech, but had a very productive season playing first base. Those were the 4 infield spots for Cal last year.
Yeah, there was no room for Cade.
Got under this one and lifts it out of play.
But you have to really tip your hat to this young man because he didn't give up.
The pitch. And that's outside off the glove of the catcher, Hunter Carnes. And it's 2-1 on Ryan Taman. Carson Crawford, by the way, transferred to Washington. And the North Bay product was just looking for an opportunity to play. Didn't think it was going to come here. The 2-1 for French, drifting with it. Now coming in with the wind blowing in from right center field. And the catch made by French, 1 gone. Back to the top of the order in Gage Harrelson for Florida State. Two years at Texas Tech for Harrelson. And his first year in Tallahassee. I hit .306 with 16 home runs. The North Florida freshman home run record. He was a freshman All-American, was an All-Atlantic Sun player for North Florida. And a half swing, weak number up the third base line. Taman throws low to first, and they got Lodis by a step. Difficult play, and Ryan Taman makes it, the Cal catcher, pouncing on it. 1, 2, 3 go the Seminoles. Onto the ball. I believe that Cole Tremaine will head back out there for the 4th.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see somebody
in the air to left, routine for Williams, but I guess nothing in the air with the wind today is routine. And Williams having to hustle over toward the line, and Chase Williams makes the catch, out number 2.
I'm surprised they don't have somebody just loosening up just in case, in Tremaine, for Tremaine. But
hustling over and in, and that goes to show you pitches. So he does have a little bit of length to him. Strike 1 on Bailey. But started Tuesday in the game against Pacific, started Friday, and now starting again today and running with it for a little bit. The 2-1. Swinging a ball, yanked. Took a wicked hop. Jared Vincula stayed with it. And how about the reaction to be able to get the out at first base?
Well, it looked like Jared overran the ball a little bit, and he bobbled it just for a second. But was able to get it up in time, and with a nice, strong sidearm throw over to Smaldino to retire Bailey.
So a lengthy battle won by Tremaine. He's gone 3 2/3. Popped up. This will get out of play. And it's now a full count on Fisher, who was ahead 3-0. It's now full.
The only thing I can think Fisher is doing is looking at the hitting coach and saying, is my stance right or my hand?
Pitch number 9. Tremaine to Cal Fisher upcoming. Rather make it the 10th pitch. And that's in the dirt, and Fisher earns the walk, and that was a really good at-bat by Cal Fisher, the second walk issued by Tremaine.
Well, for a number of reasons. Number one is that he's on base now with 2 outs. But more important, he's making Tremaine a runner at home.
Chris Bodersbaugh, Cal pitching coach, out to the mound. And Fisher's at bat. Top 8 seed is where Florida State wants to be. French fouls it back. One more weekend of regular season baseball as the Noles will host North Carolina next week. Cal, Thursday through Saturday, will entertain Boston College right here. Sit high, and the impressive thing about that run that Cal made to Omaha in 1992 was they didn't necessarily think they were going to get in to the tournament. They ended the season with a rough weekend, and that year it was still the six-pack, the Pac-12 Southern Division. As Applefield skies it into shallow right, hustling in is Harrelson, fighting the wind and gives way to the Texas A&M was in that regional as well. Again, there were 6-team regionals back then.
Oh, every team was loaded. I mean, like you mentioned.
Cal lost the first game and had to go back through the loser's bracket to win. And they won that regional to go to Omaha. The 2-1. 3-1 now in Handren, and then
9 in Fullerton.
And Pepperdine won it.
Pepperdine won it under Andy Lopez. Of course, Augie Garrido, head coach at Fullerton.
The 1-2. And Steve Rodriguez, who was a standout for that Pepperdine team, would go on to be the head coach at his alma mater as well as Baylor. He's on the staff at Texas recently. Move up in the ACC standings and trying to get a better seeding position, where Florida State right now would be the number 1 seed. Showing bunt, and it's ball 1 to Jackson West. West to pop out in the second. The pitch on the ground at second base. Sliding stop. Advincula throws, not in time. And Carnes aboard. That's an infield hit for the Florida State catcher, as a sliding stop by Advincula could not prevent Carnes from reaching.
Well, the ball just wasn't hit hard enough, Roxy. You can see there's Jaron going wide to his left. Well,
I'm finally kind of there, and that the default is, as Lodis fouls it back, to go, okay, and look for the ACC.
It's just hard to get into our heads. I mean, our whole lives we've been the Pac, well, for my case, Pac-8, Pac-10, Pac-12. And it's just hard to believe it's not there anymore. Of course, there still is a Pac.
Cal has 2 hits. Singles by Schmidt and French. And that's ball 1 to Taman. Wes Mendez. And that floats outside. It's 2-1 on the Cal catcher. No throwing just yet, as Mendez has done a nice job at home plate. 1-1. It's a pivotal spot in this game.
Almost a rebound. He had to really get up. Look at that there. Nice play.
Schmidt spoils another. Fights off another breaking ball for Mendez. Leaves it up to Smaldino, and Cal could use a clutch hit from their first baseman. A couple of flyouts to right for Smaldino. He is 0 for 2. Taman at third, Moutsouridis at first. They were there with nobody out. There's now 2 down. And Smaldino takes a changeup for a strike.
That was that same pitch that struck out Schmidt. It's the changeup that tails away from the right-handed hitter.
That ball fought off by Smaldino. Two balls, 2 strikes.
Now make it 2-1, but it also puts the potential tying run at second base.
And a full count on Smaldino. Skied right side. Bailey crossing into foul ground. Bailey near the Cal dugout has to reverse field and makes the catch. Side retire, but Cal gets a run. We're through 5. Florida State 2. The Golden Bears 1. Heart of the order coming up for the Seminoles. And the did not walk a batter. Struck out 3. And he gave up 1 hit in 2 scoreless innings against the Tigers. The 2-0. On the ground, past third, took advantage of the shift. A little dribbler. Down the left field line, Max Williams digging for 2 as it's run down by Moutsouridis. Rather, that's Kate walk. Fisher has scored a run today. And the third baseman won a lengthy battle by drawing a walk with Tremaine in the 4th, and a terrific at-bat by Fisher. Shaw. That's fouled away by Fisher. It's 0-1.
pitch.
And Faroux down swinging with the off speed. 2 gone.
Well, you look at a guy like David Shaw, who's, here's the off-speed pitch again, as you see. You look at a guy like that and you think.
Lefty. And it's Peyton Prescott out of the bullpen. Right-hander for the French out there at second base. 3-1 Florida State, bottom of the 6th. The 1-0. Handren takes it low. It's 2-0 on Max Handren.
He also pulled his left shoulder out. He was fooled by the pitch. And heads back to the dugout. So that was an unproductive out for Cade.
So Alec Burge batting with 2 on and 2 out. The junior, the transfer from Wichita State. 9 homers this year, hitting, fouls it off from Shaw. 1 ball, 1 strike. It's a long trip for Florida State coming out west. On Thursday, worked out at Oracle Park on Friday before the series began. And it just missed from Shaw, and then who's 1 for 2 with a walk. Two outs, nobody on for Schmidt. As Prescott out of the bullpen has worked an inning and 2/3 now, has issued just a walk. And there is ball 1 to Schmidt. 6-5 in the 11th inning, and the game was called because of curfew. And Oregon State had to go catch their plane.
Oh, jeez.
So even though they led in the 11th, Iowa didn't get a chance to come back in the bottom half. Therefore, it's a suspended game.
Okay, what I don't understand there, though, if a game, you say it's curfew, but normally.
Yes. 19-8 now in the Big Ten. 38-13. But an interesting run in the Big Ten this year with those new teams in there. With on a move to first. And back is Williams.
I was saying before that these schools have now gone to the Big Ten and the ACC, but, Roxy, did you ever think what would happen if when all these shifts were made in conferences, what if it was California just said, no, we're just going to have a California Intercollegiate Baseball League and include all those schools along with UCLA?
Here comes the 1-0. Handren takes it outside. 2-0 the count. Well, Stanford, who we told you they were down 8-0, they've come back to take the lead. They're up 10-9 now on Grand Canyon as Jake Safe. Handren stops at second, and Campbell is aboard. 5th hit for Cal. There's 2 on with 1 out, and Burge coming up.
Well, Cade did a good job there. The first 2 pitches, he looked like he just wasn't prepared to hit. With 2 strikes, though, he did what a good hitter does. He just made contact and was able to get a key base hit. That's good job of hitting by Cade Campbell.
Out leaves it up to Moutsaritas, who's 1 for 3. Joe Charles, the 6'4" senior, Celebration, Florida native, started his college career 2 years at North Carolina, but has battled some injuries in it. To mention that suspended game that was halted in the 11th with Oregon State trying to sweep Iowa. Iowa leads the Big Ten, by the way. And they have a 1-game lead on Oregon. And next weekend, Mark Wasikowski and the Ducks will head to Iowa City in a 3-game set. 0 for 5 day for Jaron, 1 gone.
Well, that had a lot of action on it. Here's the slider, like you said. And you could see it just dipped down there at the end. It was up in the zone, but Jaron just couldn't catch up with it.
Carl Schmidt has walked a couple of times today, 1 for 2. And the Cal left fielder will dig in to face Charles. Cal with 5 hits today, all singles. And Florida State with 8 hits themselves. They have 2 doubles, the rest singles. And the doubles, one was in the alley, and the other one was a dribbler past third beating the shift.